Hello, if you were just watching me just a few moments ago, it seemed as though something went terribly wrong. Okay, we'll just do it a different way. Okay, so hello everyone. Sorry about that. I was talking about essential oils, and my name is Emily Baker. I'm an aromatherapist and reflexologist. For those who don't know, I live on the Shropshire borders in a little town, which is lovely. Very privileged to be living here as well. So, and I do love my essential oils. Have done for a number of years. Just a few things I wanted to go through. A couple of things that cropped up last year and also the year before during lockdown about some oil safety issues that are different in different countries. Okay, there are certain things which are universal. Okay, i.e., don't let your kids have them. Make sure that the lid's on tight as well because you don't want to be spilling it everywhere. Oils will stain, by the way, so if you are putting them on your pillow at night, you may find that they do stain your pillow. Not that I would advocate putting it onto the pillow. I have seen a family member literally going like that, which was a little bit overboard, really, because all you need is perhaps a drop or two, not a huge amount of droppage. And also, when you're shaking the bottle like that, you're not too sure of how many drops are going to come out. Okay, so essential oils come out in little bottles like this. I'm trying to hide the names of the company. Okay, so things that I tend to look out for is the name of the oil and the essential oil in Latin as well, because you can get different types of oils, such as geranium. You can get bourbon geranium, which is rose geranium, and you can then also get um, as well just normal geranium, graveolens. I am useless at saying the Latin names. I will say it now. I have a hard enough time with normal English. So just to let you know. So just to kind of give you an overview of how we get the oil from a plant, such as a rosemary. I'm going to use rosemary today because it's a nice and simple one, and I'm going to be using that as an example probably a couple of more times as well. So rosemary, you take off all the leaves. Okay, you can also take off the stems. Fragrant as anything, isn't it? And we put that into cooking, which is great. What happens is that in the leaves there's tiny little oil pockets and they burst with the steam, with the heat. And that's what we're getting to, the oil of the plant. And it varies from plant to plant. And also where we collect the oil may also vary. So sometimes it can be roots, rhizomes, bark, bark from trees. Pardon me. It can be the leaves, it can be the flowers, and sometimes it can be from the same plant but have a different name. Okay, so just to be aware of that as well. Or it can be the same sort of species but different again. Okay, so we have bittergrain, which is bitter orange, all right, or that you can have sweet orange. Different but similar but different. Okay, very different aromas as well. Therefore, they have a different chemical makeup. Just like each of any one of us have a different chemical makeup. This is going to be really quite important. So, how we get to the common way of getting to my rosemary oil would be we'd make a big steamer like you would do for your cooking of your vegetables. Heat, water, plate to hold it all in with tiny little holes in it. Steam rises up because it's hot. That steams up, opens up the pores, up goes through the steam, but with the capsules of oils as well. Goes into a little tube at the top, into a funnel. That then goes into a spiral, which is normally surrounded by water to cool it all down. So then we can collect the water and the oil, because firstly, what will come out is the water, obviously. That water is also called a hydrolat. So that is really useful for perhaps supplying around pets, not on pets, but around pets. And actually, they're much more sensitive to other um, smells perhaps that you may not have as well. So some are actually quite difficult to get hold of, and it depends. I haven't done an animal course at all. I know that Ted, when I've made my inhalers, he's absolutely loved them, and he's kind of gone and said, "Oh, okay, I'm quite happy with sniffing. What's that one? Yes, yeah, no, that's quite good." But he will turn away, and if he doesn't like it, he would literally turn his head the opposite direction, and he'll be looking like, "Do I have to sit here?" And in fact, with one of them, with some essential oils, he will actually kind of go no and walk out. So that's kind of reactions that you're kind of looking for with pets, because they'll kind of go, "Okay, yes, I like that. That's kind of good for me at the moment." Um, Lovely. If you are here, let me know. That'd be fantastic. And then I can see who's here. So hello to all of you who are here watching me. So that's how we basically, for I would say, a good proportion of oils, that's how we get the essential oil. So if you can imagine, we're going to need a lot of foliage, rosemary in this case, to produce a bottle like that of of oil. So, and oils will come out differently. So this one here, don't know if you can see, but this is actually rose juniper berry. So this is actually very thick essential oil, and essential oils will differ in their colour, in how thick they are, how thin they are. They will also vary depending on which company they come from. They will also vary because how they actually get sold. So essential oils are kind of put onto a big market, and then they're bid for, and then it's kind of like a, yeah, it is like that really. So the other thing I'm looking out for is kind of like a batch number and a date as well on my essential oil to know, oh, okay, yeah, maybe, gosh, I've had that for a long time. Is it still okay? Is it not? Because the chemicals will change slightly. I will also be looking for a batch number, because then I can trace it back to the company and say, look, I bought this batch and it's not right. And I have done that. I've had to take back, I think it was frankincense, and I smelt it and I went, that's not frankincense. And another colleague of mine, she smelt it and she said, that's really not frankincense, that's gone off. And I said, yeah, I thought so. And that had to actually be taken back. So that batch would automatically would have to be recalled from the company, or the company would then be aware that that batch there's something wrong with that batch, that it's not quite right. Okay. How I normally get my oils is that I will go to my companies that I would normally go to. Do I go into places such as Boots and pharmacies to buy essential oils? Yes, but I would use them in a different way, because I don't know how long they've been sitting out on the shelf for. That is also true for the oils that I get from my companies. However, I know that they deal in essential oils, so their turnaround is going to be higher than those perhaps in a pharmacy or something like that. Okay, so just that's just me. And I'm not saying that the ones that you get from like Tisserand, and that's also another thing to look out for, is the price, because the price of the essential oil, it's not necessarily denoting the quality in a way it is, because if it's incredibly cheap, then you're kind of going, why is it so cheap? Why are you selling this essential oil at £2.50, where I can buy the same essential oil, everything's as it is on the label, packaged, and all the rest of it. But all the other companies are selling them at £4, £5, £6. And I did do a study on this way back, 2013, 14, something like that, or maybe 15, where I did look at just one group of oils, and I bought the same oils. The most expensive for this, it was geranium, which was £16, or going all the way down to £3.50. Same amount. I tried to keep it as the same amount and the same type of geranium as well. So I wasn't mixing up my geranium, so there wouldn't be a crossover from that. But that was a huge difference there that I came across. yes, I think it was £8, 8 or £10, all the way down to £3. So there's a huge difference there. Some of it was part of the packaging, the company. One was it was an English company, so there was a small company as well. So yes, it was one that I've never heard of, but they were only just doing lavenders and geraniums. Fair enough. And it was actually a really nice geranium oil. In fact, I still got some of it. So that's also the other thing I'm looking for. If it's incredibly cheap, do bear in mind it can be adulterated as well. The other thing that it can also be is that to look out for, I suppose, I don't know. For me, it's just the scent of it, but it's really difficult to know if it's going to be a good scent or a bad scent until you bought it. To be honest, and I've come across that with lavenders actually. There are some lavenders that I just do not like. I don't like Croatian lavender. I love and this is Lavandula angustifolia, by the way. The one that I've got from Croatia, not from Croatia, I don't like, but the one from Kashmiri or Tasmania, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, lovely lavenders. The English, and now I've got an extra fine English lavender, which actually that's really really lovely as well. So there's something about the Croatian lavender I don't like, but again it depends where the oil has been grown. It's going to change the composite, the soil, and everything. If you think about us, where we are, we're all diverse. Plants are going to be same species. We're the same species as my next door neighbour, but they're different to me because of how they've grown up or what they've been fed. You know, their kid's slender. I'm not exactly slender. So do you see what I mean? It will vary. The chemical makeup will vary. Okay, so that's a very general bit about some essential oils. And I'm going to try to keep this really, really simple because I don't want to bombard you with lots and lots of stuff. Oil safety, please make sure that your lids are on tight afterwards. Don't leave them open because oils are volatile and they'll evaporate. Okay, so when you open them up, that's very wafty. This company actually I would probably put in for a burner. Oh, I love this one. Caraway. Caraway. Caraway is a lovely, lovely smell. It's complex. There's spice, there's floral, there's menthol, there's clearing, there's grass, it's beautiful. And in fact I've forgotten how, because normally you would have caraway seeds in bread, but actually putting it in food is beautiful. Now you see, I just made myself a beautiful segue without realising it. I want to go and talk about some oil safeties. The other one, which is something that cropped up, which was about the ingestion of essential oils. Obviously, you don't want to put caraway straight onto you, do you? I mean, you may like the smell. You don't really want to do that. You don't actually want to do that with any citrus oils and dab it here, dab it there, because especially when it's nice and hot, because you'll get third-degree burns. Yes, do think about that. So essential oils being put directly onto the skin, not necessarily advisable. To a certain extent you can do, perhaps with lavender or tea tree, 1 drop and putting it on. But even then, I still dilute it. I will still put it onto a damp cotton wool pad, put 1 drop on, and then go onto the afflicted area. Lavender is great if you've got a burn, an itch, if you've kind of got something that's really kind of, it's great for if you've burnt yourself on the oven or the iron, you know, when you're pulling stuff out of the oven and you get the top of your hand, it really does soothe down that, and it also helps with the healing process and also with the scarring. But again, it is diluted with water on 1 drop on a cotton wool pad. This is not huge amounts of 6-7 drops, it's not. This is 1 drop. And in fact, another great thing to take on holiday is lavender and tea tree, simply for your bites and stings from insects. Great for kids, soothing down kids as well on the plane if they're really upset. Babies can be, so just having it on a 1 drop onto a handkerchief. And I say a handkerchief, not a tissue. Well, they can use a tissue if you wish to, or a tissue. And just having that near to them, it may calm them down. Note, lavender oil can also be a stimulant for some people, and some people are actually kind of allergic to it. They can't stand the smell. So it's not a case of everybody loves lavender, not everybody does. And where everybody thinks normally that lavender is great for relaxing, it is. Great for depression, it is. It's great for this, that and the other. Other people find it as a stimulant, and it stimulates them, and it can be an overactive stimulant. Okay, so just bear that one in mind with lavender. The digestion. Now, I know that I'm going to be doing some mind, body, spirit fairs, and I'm going to have to keep my head very calm and cool and collected while I hear certain people, and this happened last year with somebody coming back and having a glass of water, and in that glass of water there were some drops of an essential oil, and I said, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just having some essential oil. I went, really? Okay, fine, I'm just going to breathe really rapidly, just hyperventilate slightly, because that's not anything that I would recommend any of you do whatsoever. Remember, what is in 1 drop constitutes as like 30-40. Okay, so 30-40 bundles of rosemary. Going back to my rosemary. If you're wanting to have a bit of lemon in your water, great. Slice up a lemon and put that in and squeeze it in. That's what I'd advocate, because actually I could smell the essential oil as she spoke to me, and she was standing a good distance away from me. Okay, so, and we were out in the fresh air. I should not have been able to smell that essential oil, but I could. I came across a company, and this whole digestion of internal use came up because a number of people advocate using it for internal use in this matter. I was going to write a blog about it, and I got infuriated by it, and basically I'm not trained to tell you to take essential oils internally, and I will give you I'll tell you why. Okay, so there are a couple of councils. There's the Aromatherapy Council, there's the Trade Council, there are numerous articles actually. Essential oils are poisonous. International Federation of Aromatherapists, there's the International Federation of Professional Aromatherapists, which is what I am with. And then there's another company which is American based, so their rules and regulations are different to us here in this country. So I went on to their health and safety course, which they have, and it's free, and you can go onto it, log onto it, and go through it. It'll take you all of half an hour. It's a very quick course, and I printed it all out, all of it, because I was just wanted to see how they wanted to use it internally. I love this. I love this. Okay, so they're saying that you can use, that they are incredibly potent. Fabulous. I'm glad they're saying that. So 1 drop goes a long way. Remember that. Okay, so 1 drop goes a long, long way. All right. And that really you shouldn't use any more than 5 drops internally. I'm already slightly hyperventilating. Okay, so some essential oils, they have told me, can go directly underneath the tongue. No, they can't. They really can't, because they can burn the tongue. They can burn the mucous membranes within the mouth. Okay, that's why we don't apply them internally, and we don't digest them. But, you know, it's okay. It's all right. Or better still, you can put them onto your tongue and burn your tongue that way. Would you like to have, okay, so you've got my rosemary, right? Okay, just get a big handful of it, all right? Squeeze it, scrunch it all up. In fact, just get a jar of your dried, no, get the fresh, get the fresh, get the fresh. Get a great big huge bundle of rosemary, okay? Squidge it all up, okay? So now you got it on your hands, you can smell it, okay? And then stick that into your mouth. That's what you're asking people to do. Just have to say. And then go and say, actually, this is, if you're going to put it on your tongue, it's only for the one use. And you can use 1 or 2 drops at a time. Why would you need to do that? If you are one, and then it goes on to say that you can add it to cooking and you can add essential oils to cooking. There are food grade essential oils that you can get. So there's lavender food grade. I think you can get lemon, obviously lemon and rose and orange and all the rest of it. You can get those as essential oils at the food grade, okay, which are different to the application of what I do, right? So it's different. In the UK, please can I point this out, to actually take internal essential oils, we don't advocate that because it's seen as a poison. That's right. Digesting essential oils is seen as a poison, not an enhancement. So, a couple of other places I went to. I did find this wonderful article which was very scary, but then I remembered who it's written by. So this is safety in use in aromatherapy, circa 2006, so quite a while ago, over 10 years ago. And it was Aromatherapy Science, and it was printed by the Pharmaceutical Press. Now, it's not a bad thing to actually have a look through it, and I did have a look through it because it kind of gave me the pharmaceutical aspect of it. So, and also it is an article and saying that actually shouldn't really do this, but it, certain oils are a bit more dangerous than other oils, and people don't realise it, which is fair enough. There's dangers with hydrolats. There's dangers with anything. Just breathing can be dangerous depending on where you are. Standing beside a volcano, that can be dangerous, I would have thought. Right. So, in this publication, I will read out to you. It says essential oils is advocated by aromatherapists in France and Germany, who are sometimes medically qualified. I'm not medically qualified. Okay, just like to point this out to you. And some people who sell you the essential oil to tell you that you can take it internally, please ask them if they're medically qualified. This is a British publication, by the way. Let's point that out, a UK publication. Who are sometimes medically qualified, but also by some medically unqualified aromatherapists in the UK. Okay. But they will actually have to take it to a doctor, apparently. There are protocols for that. Can I just point that one out? Because I did look into that, and I do remember that they either had to have a GP with them or have a GP writing it off or something like that, a qualified medical professional. Okay, so it can not only, it's potentially dangerous due to the quantities, okay, but also to the mouth area, the adulterations of the oils and things like that in high dosage. Okay, so that's why it's not advocated here. They do go and talk about testing and things like that. Okay, so they talk about the adverse effects on aromatherapists. Now, for me, it's sensitivity. If I'm using an oil far too much, then it's the sensitivity of those oils that I'm also getting those onto my skin. Hence why I tend to wash my hands straight afterwards to get some of that oil off of me. Going back to this other company, remember, start with just a toothpick amount of essential oil, more from there. This is the first time you'll heard it on this course, but it won't be the last. But essential oils are potent. They actually did say it beforehand, but hey ho, never mind. But so they're saying take a toothpick amount. Literally, do you put it onto a toothpick and then put it into your mouth and suck that? If it's wood or plastic. But yes, but you can go a whole hog and put the whole drop into your mouth. So I don't know how you would. I don't. Yes. Anyway, it's not something I would advocate. I don't advocate that. Moving on. Right. So then we come on to poison.org. So I think we're UK. I tried to find them out, but they seem to give me. Well, it's not 0800. Well, it's 1800 number. Okay, so I don't know if this is American or UK, because they talk about poison control. So they pointed out, bottom line, essential oils are derived from plant parts. Because they have a scent, essential oils are often used as perfumes, cosmetics, room fresheners, flavourings. Many have a history of medicinal use too. Yeah, okay. Misuse of these can cause serious poisoning if you're internally taking them. There are some side effects if you do take them internally. I'd like to point this out to you, but they can be resulting in causes problems with major organs of the liver, kidneys, can cause seizures. They can also, if you're taking medications, they can mix, if you're going to digest essential oils, they can actually then counteract with your medications, because essential oils have got chemical components to them, so they may react badly, so you may have that, seizures and things like that. You may have an allergic reaction. You may find that I did read an article, and I did try to find it because I found it a year ago or so, about essential oils, and that some children had died while taking essential oil in water before going to bed because they had a cold, and they were drinking that, and unfortunately they were rushed to hospital. It was either children or an adult had died, or they had just have a look, because there is poisoning with regards to it, because it's seen as being kind of like a poison. I see it. If you're going to digest it, then just be aware it's a concentrated amount that you're putting in. Another article came up saying the same thing, that we don't really do that, and that was the International Federation of Aromatherapists. And again, they don't advocate internal use in any circumstances. That means orally, rectally, vaginally. If you're doing patisseries and things like that, you can apply them, but you also it's not pure essential oil, you're adding something else with it. So it is diluted in that way. Again, I don't do those. And there are legal implications for doing that. But again, in the oral use, as in going into the mouth, I don't advocate it, and neither do they. There's another article with PubMed, WebMed, MD. More kids accidentally getting poisoned by essential oils. So this is a case of where I went back to right at the beginning of making sure that the lids are on tight with bottles, okay? Make sure that they're not in direct sunlight, because again that will be affected. That's why the oils are normally in dark bottles and not in clear white bottles, okay? They tend to be in blue or brown. Brown being the most common colour, actually, for bottles. Blue is more expensive. Just to let you know. And that's for the people who are selling any oils. It's more expensive, the glue bottle. So, and even if you're going to buy a smaller glue bottle, they're more expensive. To go back to this essential thing of just putting 1 or 2 drops on your tongue or underneath your tongue, we just say it's not going to happen. But at a guess, if you've got, and I have this problem with one of my oils actually, is that when I tip it up, I get 4 or 5 suddenly rushing out, and I've lost count of how many drops I've already had. Whereas another dropper, I can get kind of like, it will take ages for that oil to come out. So how do you measure a drop? So you're going to have a, use a pipette almost for every single oil rather than the dropper that they give you, because they will give you different sized drops as well. Bear that one in mind. So yes, it is. The article of the Web one was done in 2016, showing that there was an increase from 2011 to 2015 exposure of toxic exposures to these oils, such as tea tree, doubled. The centre said, even alarming, 4 out of every 5 cases were in children. So, and this is a Tennessee Poison Center Control. So that was in America. Okay, so bear that one in mind. Just make sure that they are out of reach of children, that you're not giving your kids access to the essential oil. Yes, they may like the smell, but be there with your children. Open the bottle. If they're wanting to take the smell away from them, get them a piece of paper, as in, the perfume at the perfume counters, you can get those. Well, you can get those tester strips, or smelling strips they're called, from your supplier. You should be able to get them from your essential oil supplier, or they will know where to get them from. And you get those. You can buy them on certain shopping sites on the internet, and you can just write on it what it is and the date, put a drop, no more than, in fact you probably won't need more than 1 drop on there, and then the child can take that away. You can seal up the bottle and put it out of the side. That's probably what I would advocate. If your children love essential oils and love the smell of them, you can have them in an infuser, you can have them in a steam diffuser, you can have them in a water-based infuser. It reads all sorts of different things. There's someone was showing me hot stones that you could put them onto. Great. My only question is, how do you clean them? Because the resin of that will stay on there, the oil will stay on there. So actually, is it a one-time use? That's my question. So yes, so how you apply them, all I'm just saying is, please be aware. I know people are saying that yes, you can internally take them, not in this country as in the UK. You have to be medically qualified to be able to say, yeah, no, it's absolutely fine, take this, this and this, and you can put that onto, because you know what happens. What will happen is someone will come along and just say, oh, well, no, I had a drop of this and I had a drop of that, and I fancied a bit of that drop later on. I thought it'd be fine. Not necessarily, okay? Obviously, look after your oils as well. So that's just a kind of more kind of getting it off my chest really about it. Hopefully you found this interesting. I know I've talked for quite a while about the essential oils. There was a bit to get through there about the ingestion of them. That was mostly my key factor of what I wanted to get through, but also how essential oils are mostly, not all of them, how you get to the oils. Some of them are actually used by some of them used with chemical extraction to get the solvent-based extraction to get the perfume or the oil out of the plant. If you are wondering how that can happen, a really good example of how aromatherapists used to get their oils out, and the best example, and in fact even my my aromatherapy teacher, we discussed it and we said, oh, you've got to see. I'd already read the book, and then I actually saw the film and I said, you've got to see this because this is exactly how I imagined it. And she said, that's exactly how it is. And we actually went through all of the scenes. So have a look at Perfume, and especially when he has grown up, not as a kid. First bit's a bit gruesome, I'll just say that. But actually, as you go through the film, there are some really, really wonderful scenes of the aromatherapy because of how he collects the aromas. Is really interesting as well, because in a way that's how aromatherapy is collected, the essential oils and things. So, and how he basically learns his craft from that. So yeah, so have a look at that if you're more interested. If you have any questions, please do ask me. I can leave you some, I can give you details of where I got the articles from. You can have a read through the articles if you like. Like I say, the first one about that was from a pharmaceutical publication, so it could be slightly biased. Not saying, I'm just saying it could be. But it's also good to hear from that side of point of view as well. You know, it doesn't hurt to hear it more than once. And again, make sure your lids are on tightly. But enjoy your essential oils as well. For those of you who do have your essential oils, I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy them. You should, absolutely. But just have a bit of reverence for them, i.e. high amount of reverence for them. And also, you don't take them too glibly, because we can all take them quite glibly, but we can come out with reactions. We can come out with kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm having this effect and that effect. So yes, but yeah, so you know, lovely essential oils. If I'm looking for an essential oil, I tend to go to the companies who I know. I know that the oils from this company, they tend to be a little bit more thicker than from this company, for instance. It doesn't mean that they're any worse, it's just they're different. This company I do like very much, as well as I do use this one. I do use another company as well. There's a price difference between these two, which is about £1, £2. If you are looking at the price difference, please be aware the cheaper it is, or one that you're not too sure about, you can make sure that it is with the Trade Council, okay? And that if your company is selling with the Trade Council, then they do know their stuff. Okay? In fact, they were one of the founders, this company, which is Quintessence. They've got issue number 001, I believe. They were one of the founders of the Trade Council. So they can also guide and help as well. Yeah, and just, you know, enjoy the essential oils, but just be aware, applying it neat onto your skin, especially during the summertime, is not really recommended. Dilute it, please, please, please dilute it, and please don't take it internally, whether it's in a bit of water or whatever. Please don't. I'm going to leave it up for your common sense, really, but I'm just saying it's not advocated. Me as an aromatherapist, I cannot advocate people taking internally essential oils, and I cannot advocate the company that I've come across, which is American, who say no, it's absolutely fine, you can put it on your tongue or under your tongue and it's absolutely fine. That may not be the case, okay? I looked at the health and safety. If it was for all of their oils, which maybe it's not, they may need to go through all of their courses. I haven't been through their courses, I don't wish to, but there we go. That's just me. That's all for now. So I've rambled on for a really long time, and I do apologise about that, but I thought I just needed to get that out there. So next time, which is going to be Saturday the 18th of June. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're halfway through the year. 18th of June, I'm actually going to be at a Mind Body Spirit Fair. So you're going to be able to see what it's like at a Mind Body Spirit Fair, and you can ask me questions there and then, hopefully. I will say that I'm going to be at that time possibly doing readings. So I may have to push back my Facebook Live, or actually probably make it a lot earlier than what I've put it down for as 3 o'clock. It may actually be in the morning when we arrive, and I'm setting up and everything like that. So I may be doing my Facebook Live there. It is going to be about mediumship. It's going to be about the things that I do. What is a mind, body, spirit fair? What is a holistic fair? What are these fairs? So I'm going to be answering those questions. If you've got any questions for me, please drop me a line. You can do through Facebook, absolutely not a problem. And I hope to get back to you as soon as possible as well. If I don't, that's probably because I've either got a memory like a sieve, or that something else has cropped up unexpectedly, but I do try to get back to you as soon as possible. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. This weekend has been the Queen's Jubilee, and so far we're not too bad, a shabby weather actually. And I hope that you enjoy your weekend. Have fun, enjoy the summer, look after yourselves, let your health be your wealth. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. You look after yourselves until then. Bye. Bye bye.